Hello everybody and welcome back to the Fortress of Solitude. Today we're going to be checking out a Batman Superman World's Finest issue 26 by Mark Waid and Dan Mora. Mxyzptlk and the World's Finest team up to battle a deadly threat that is coming not just for the imps now, but for all of Earth's heroes. Waid doesn't waste any time getting into the comedy that comes with 5th dimensional imps showing up, doing gag after gag, and even opening with a gag and a 4th wall break with Mxyzptlk talking to us the reader and kind of filling us in on what's been going on. Eventually Batman and Superman manage to corral the imps and find out that an evil imp is after Mxyzptlk and Bat-Mite, and coming to Earth Zero led the imp and his mini Legion of Doom to them, prompting the heroes to team up with the imps. I really like it when the imps get serious for a second, and it only happens every now and then in stories they're involved in. And it happens here when we get into like the big fight where they are teaming up with Batman and Superman, and they kind of realize that shit's hitting the fan and things are getting pretty serious for them. Waid manages to do this really great tonal shift where it shifts to like, high stakes, there's actual serious stuff happening, but there's still a sense of levity to the plot thanks to what's happening, and the imps are using their powers to help the heroes, and it's a load of fun. World's Finest head out to stop these imps, but it's revealed that they have teamed up with the proper Legion of Doom to wreak havoc across many cities in America. In order to level the playing field, Mxyzptlk gives Robin a swanky new costume and superpowers, and then later, Superman also gets a special bat-themed Superman suit to protect him from the kryptonite thanks to Bat-Mite. I'm beginning to feel there's some sort of unwritten edict at DC right now to give heroes cool new alternate costumes or vehicles or armor or like a device they can use that's very much like an action figure accessory. Jeremy Adams does it, Waid is doing it here, Chip Zdarsky does it in his Batman book, and Joshua Williamson does it all over his Superman book, and I'm all for it because again it's just people playing with action figures and their accessories, and after all, isn't that what comics really should be about? Just people playing with these action figures and telling some really cool stories with them as well. Over the course of the battles, the Batman learns the imp's master is going to be testing them to find out who is the greatest hero of all time. That's about it for the plot of this story. We sort of already knew that was happening, but it's now caught up to the heroes actually knowing as well, and I wouldn't be surprised that because this I believe is the final arc in the series, I can see Waid not actually crowning a greatest hero, or if he does, it will probably be Superman because Waid loves Superman, but I could also see him doing a very meta thing because imps are involved too, where he says something, I know it could be pretty corny, but maybe he does something where the greatest hero of all is actually the reader. I could absolutely see that happening here, especially with the imps already talking to us as a reader. Across the issue, Waid is also sure to switch up the usual teams we get, so Mxyzptlk is forced to team with Batman and Bat-Mite teams with Superman, and both heroes use this as an opportunity to explain their way of heroing to their opposites imp. This felt like Waid getting a little bit meta here and talking to the audience and explaining to the Batman fans what makes Superman cool and explaining to the Superman fans what makes Batman cool. It's a neat little idea, and I like that he doesn't really push too deep into it in this issue since it's like the first part, but I have to imagine that's going to be something that runs throughout this series where both the imps kind of learn that, hey, my hero's cool, but then all these other heroes are cool as well, and that's going to be sort of the takeaway for these characters. While the heroes save their cities, the villain, who we actually get to see for the first time here without a hood on, however he's not actually named just yet, gets ready for his next and final assault, finding that this Earth is his favorite thanks to the variety of heroes he has to choose from. This villain has a great creepy design, and it looks really similar to like a Joker imp, although he's like very yellow, and he also has some like design elements that make me think of characters like Toyman as well, so he's like a sort of amalgamation of all these different classic Superman and Batman villains, and I think that might be the idea. I'm not entirely sure. We don't even know this guy's name yet, which I was sure we were going to get revealed this issue, but we don't really get much revealed about him. Dan Mora treats us to this design, and I love how sparingly he is used though, really building up the mystery surrounding the threat, and is a cool visual storytelling in that he's using all of these other imps to do his dirty work and kind of puppeting them from the shadows instead of confronting the heroes head on. The villain ends up dropping a Parasmite imp on Metropolis, and they team up with Parasite to drain Batman and Superman of their energy, while the imp drains Mxyzptlk and Bat-Mite's energy. Thanks to this evil imp teaming with Parasite though, Parasite gets kind of godlike awareness. He gets overpowered like we've seen a dozen times before, but because he's being overpowered by a magical imp, there's that little bit extra, and he gets this awareness that he's never had before, and instead of just feeding on like a person's energy, he wants to feed on like the atomic bonds that hold matter together and whole dimensions. And we actually get a new cool power that is something that I've never actually thought of with Parasite, but it's just such a cool power, and that is he can siphon off Batman, Robin and Superman's third dimension, rendering them as 2D drawings on a wall. Now, I don't know what Mark Waid is smoking when he comes up with these ideas, but I want some of it since that's a really cool and unique idea, and it's a great extension of Parasite's power. Yeah, of course, he can take and siphon energy from them, so once he gets these new god powers, he's going to be able to siphon other things like dimensions. That's really cool, and really makes him a threat as well. I hope Waid uses this as kind of a running gag through the story where we get a villain and they get like an extra power thanks to being powered up by an evil imp, so they can get an extra dimension on their power more or less, and it can be used in a new creative way. And I'm looking forward to next issue, since Batman, Superman and Robin are just 2D characters now. They're just like flat drawings on a wall, so how is that going to be done as a comic? I want to see what Dan Mora has in store for us, because if it's anything like these last couple of issues he's been doing, and this entire series more or less when he's been drawing it, it has been fantastic. World's Finest issue 26 was so bloody creative and exciting, keeping me hooked for each of the 24 pages, with some really great character work for Mxyzptlk and Bat-Mite that helped push the plot forward in an interesting yet still very mysterious direction. And again, more brilliant design work from Dan Mora on the art side, all of which came together in this great Saturday morning cartoon fueled package. I'm going to give this issue a 10 out of 10.